Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hello. Tudo bem? Konnichiwa. What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast once again. And today, man, we have a show that I promise you guys I have been waiting, marinating on, meditating on. I've been on my Kendrick Lamar stuff. Waiting, plotting, processing how to do this video. But it's finally here. And I tell you, man, the guy we're going to be talking about today is none other than, I hope I pronounce it correctly because he's very new to me, PK Subban. I think that's how you say his name. And this guy has been on fire. Okay? Inferno. Blazing hot. Just blaze. Blaze pizza. Anything with the word blaze. Alright? This guy's been hotter than hot. And it's because he's bringing this passion like that I don't know if we've ever seen before to the national media. And they're actually letting him cook. They're letting this man cook. They're letting him stir fry the vegetables, fry all the chicken. Heck, man, they're just, whatever he wants, he's allowed to cook. I've never seen the likes of this before. My man went off. But the passion is the passion of that of a fan, it feels like. It feels like he's me, you know, and you and other people that may have a problem. The man, it just seems like he's going way off script. You're not allowed to say these things about the players. You're supposed to coddle them. You're supposed to protect them like small baby millionaires. You ever seen a baby millionaire? The bottle's made out of gold. You know, they have silk diapers that smell like pomegranates. Like baby millionaires, man. You're not supposed to touch baby millionaires. You got to be nice to them. You got to love them. You know, no matter what. And my man did the exact opposite. He went for it. And not only did he come for these guys, he did what you're not supposed to do in the national media. He compared them to Mike and Kobe and said it wasn't close. How dare you, sir? Who are you to do that to the gods of the baby millionaires? How dare you, sir? I can't believe it, PK. Unbelievable. But we're gonna get into this video, man, and we're gonna listen to this brother. We're gonna let him cook, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna try to put seasoning on top of his cooking because it doesn't really need to be. You can't cook it any better than he cooked it. I'm gonna add a little bit of seasoning though, you know, because I like to season my food a little bit different, just a little bit different. But overall, this is how you cook. This is how you cook a meal. All right, this is how you cook a meal. So let's check out what this brother has to say.
If you're really about sports, then you're about two things: your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hard-working people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports. Because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be? You are one. You're on the biggest stage. You just said it. They make the most money. You're an example. You got to show up. You got to take that on. I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats, that aren't the best examples. Those are the people that we want our kids to follow, that we want athletes to follow. That helps us in our game. Stephen A., you want athletes to be educated on this and understand this. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you. And participating, because here's the thing. Because you're making 100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you. is to max out. We talk about greatness and it being the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go all out. I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport. That's the guy that I follow. You're a different version than that, you don't get my respect.
Oh boy. All right, man. That's how you do it, PK Subban. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done. That's how you cook. That's how you marinate, season, saute, fry, bake, broil, whatever, however you can cook food. That's how he cooked it. That's how you cook them. Let me tell you something, man. This guy has to be my cousin. I don't know how. I got to talk to my grandparents. I don't know which side he's on. I don't know if that's Aunt Cheryl's son. But this guy's got to be my cousin. Got to be somewhere, some way. So let's just break down the gems. Man, this guy was cooking. Like, the points that he brought out in that minute and like 46 seconds, or however long that clip was, is amazing. You even got to give credit to this brother for being such a great speaker. To be a top-notch athlete, I believe he was a good NHL player. And to be able to still speak like this is impressive to me. There are not a lot of people that can master so many things. But let's just start breaking this down, man. So, first thing he said is there's two things that matter the most: your teammates and the fans. Amen, brother. Now, I'm not a millionaire, and people will say, well, you're not them, so how do you know how they do this and what type of example they need to set and blah, blah, blah. Listen, man. Life is life, and the standard is the standard. Charles Barkley once said that he's not anybody's role model. And we're going to talk a little bit about role models also, because PK touched on that too. Fine, but you are one. So Charles said that years and years ago. All right? When you listen to Charles Barkley now, he's also trying to hold some of these players accountable. Because it's one thing to say you're not a role model, but all your actions and everything you do, none of it should be copied. Right? Doing all these things that just don't make no sense. He said your teammates and your fans are the two most important things as an athlete. And I couldn't agree more. No, I've never made $1 million playing basketball or football. But at the end of the day, with my teammates that I played with the most are still my brothers to this day. And I still choose them over I choose many other people. Because that's the camaraderie and that's what you build. I don't care if two of my teammates that I love are not the two best players in the gym. When we walk in, we play together. We ride or die together. That's it. My boys call me and say, yo, I'm on my way to the gym. Can you hold a spot for me? Now, I'm not trying to cheat people at the gym. I might say, hey, bro, you know what? Why don't you go in front of me? I'm waiting for two of my boys. But if another team loses, and this is on the LA Fitness level, if another team loses and two really good players come off that team and you got your boys there with you, you don't drop your boys and pick up these other two players. What type of crap is that? You don't do that to your teammates, your brothers. So when I see players in today's game just using their quote-unquote brothers like pawn pieces for their success, their narcissistic only success, that's disgusting to me. Money must have changed you from the kid that you once were. Maybe you were always that kid that didn't care about your boys. But not me. I wouldn't go out that way. Once again, I'm not a millionaire, and I know people are going to remind me of that in the comments. Fine. But I'd like to believe that even if I had a little bit more money, I'm not going to change who I am. It's easier said than done. I get that too. But I'm sorry. Your teammates. And then what about the fans, man? Again, he mentions Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant at the end of this. Why is it always Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant? Instead of getting mad at why it's Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, maybe think about why is it that people mention Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant? What did they say about the fans? They always talked about the fans. One of my favorite quotes from Kobe Bryant, they said, "Why don't you just sit out?" He said, "Because when I go to this other city, there's somebody that probably paid to see me play, a fan. And I'm going to make sure they get their money's worth. My job is to put on for the fans and win championships." That's how Kobe Bryant thought. That's what he talked about. If I'm going to be a fan of a player, then I expect that player to respect me as a fan, to want to put on a good show, to think about me in some way, shape, or form, and a part of what they're doing. We're the ones paying all the money so that they can be what they are. All the luxuries that they have, that's fans paying for that. What people fail to realize is this whole world works in a cycle. We all work together to make things successful. Some have more, some have a little bit less, but it's a cycle. And as far as players are concerned, they're entertainers. Entertainers are supposed to entertain. Now, they still need to be respected as human beings, but what about the fans that you're trying to entertain? If you're not entertaining the fans, if you don't care about anything that the fans want, then you're not doing it right. PK was 100% right about that. You're not doing it right. He said money doesn't matter. Great, you're making $200 million. The more money you make, the more should be expected of you. That's how it's supposed to work. If you're worth $200 million, then you should be putting on $200 million worth of show. Not work less or do less. You're supposed to do more. You're supposed to live up to that. The money shouldn't matter more than your brothers and the fans. Because when the money does matter more, the product suffers. It does not grow the game. It grows your wallet individually, grows your yacht. But should you also not pay homage to the game that has provided you with the ability to make $200 million? It doesn't pay homage to the players before you that worked to sacrifice for you to get that money. Or do you not care about them either? Right? Fans are paying $2,500 a ticket to get close to the floor. And usually it's the same people you see, depending on what city they're in, because that's how expensive it is. But if somebody manages to get down there, imagine how much money they're paying to come see you play. Even if they're paying $150, $200. Look at the economy outside. People are struggling. People are losing jobs. And they still want to come out and see their favorite player play. You can't even bother to show up. And like he said, we pay you $200 million to play injured. That's what we pay you for. We pay you to be stronger and better than the average person. Not to be below average and sit out every game that you can and collect your paycheck. And I've never understood why I feel like people see a player that I guess they like and be so happy about their $200 million contract when they're not putting in the work to even earn or deserve that. At what point do you realize that's not your money? So if you want to, for me, if I'm going to continue to be a fan of a person, I expect them to put on a show and play hard and show respect to the fans and care about the fans, not themselves all the time. Yeah, you got to care about yourself somewhat. We get that. But you can't even be bothered to play, to give it your best. Again, the $200 million is to give your best. That's why you're getting that money. Man, and then he also said, and I love this quote too. He said, basically, you're forcing these guys, and it's not the exact quote, but you're forcing these guys to be all-time greats that are not putting in all-time great effort. So we're just forcing them to be in these conversations. And it's ridiculous. I've thought that for a while. I did another video talking about Kobe Bryant and excuse me, that one, not the Kobe Bryant video. What was the video? About Tyson Chandler. It's not Tyson Chandler, excuse me. Channing Frye. Talking about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and the nostalgia of it and everything like that. The standard is the standard. I know myself, like I said, you could do whatever you want to do. But I'm not changing the standard. Okay? I'm not changing the standard. And so he said some other stuff too, but just to relay that message one more time, I can't change the standard. The standard is the standard. And people need to live up to the standard, not live underneath it. So he also mentioned that, like, I want your best 10 years. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your 10 best years. No excuses. And that's how I look at it also. So these guys now are doing all this load management and taking breaks here and taking breaks there. And yes, it extends your career. And yes, selfishly, you'll get more money if you have a longer career. I get all that. But you're still cheating the game. You're cheating the game. So I actually can be okay with that. I can respect that to a certain extent. I get it. You want to play longer. That's your most important thing. So you can make and optimize your money the most. Fine. If you want to do that, I get that line of reasoning. But I also don't want to see you trying to be up there with the greats. You're not Magic Johnson. You're not Larry Bird. Now, they didn't play a long time either. Magic because of, some extracurricular activities. Bird because his body just gave out, his back. But he gave you the 10 best years he could give you. And actually, how long did Bird play? I have to look that up. I don't remember. But I know it wasn't long. Maybe 10. Okay? But he gave you the best 10 years he could give you. And that's why we respect Bird as an all-time great. That and the winning. Okay? He gave you what he could give. In the Olympics, when he didn't really have a lot left, he still went out there and gave you some more. For the fans. For the country, in this case. Right? He wanted to do that. And you have to respect that. He gave you everything he could. We're watching dudes take games off, load manage, basically like just try to live off of whatever injuries I guess they do or don't have. I don't know. It's so confusing. It's almost like they fake being injured, some of these guys, so that you never know when they are or they aren't. It's very hard to be able to tell. And it's a shame because should I have to question your integrity? I never had to question whether or not Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing or Vince Carter, even T-Mac. T-Mac was hurt, but I didn't have to question whether or not he was healthy or not. If he could play, he was playing. Allen Iverson, what a great example of an Iron Man, if there ever was one. I know I mentioned some other people before him, but if you want to see somebody who plays through it no matter what, Allen Iverson. Not the biggest guy either. What a great example. I didn't have to ask whether or not AI was actually hurt. If he wasn't playing, he was hurt. You got to ask, are these guys actually hurt nowadays? And again, if you want to load manage, be my guest. Load manage your behind off. But do not, under any circumstances, put yourself on the level of an Allen Iverson who gave it everything he had. Every single time he stepped on the court. From beginning to end. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I didn't have to question it. I didn't have to wonder. I already knew. Now we have to wonder. I sat out with, toenail soreness. The heck? What the heck is that? And, PK just, he just hit a lot of points. He just hit a lot of nails right on the head, man. And he said the best examples are the ones that need to grow our game. The game is not growing right now, ladies and gentlemen. There's people, I know some people in the comments may be upset with this, but it's not growing the way that it once was. The excitement is just not there. And a big part of it was the All-Star game. I have a video about the All-Star game. Please check it out when you get a chance if you haven't already checked it out. That game meant everything to me when I was like 12 years old, man. Everything. There was nothing I could think of that was more important to me besides maybe playing video games, but at the end of the day, or playing basketball or football outside actually myself. But at the end of the day, the All-Star game was one day, one night. You had one night per year to see the best basketball players in the world. And there was no way I was missing that. I could play video games after, before. I could go outside earlier in the day. You did not miss the All-Star game. Now, nobody cares. Nobody gives a freak. I'm sorry. Nobody cares anymore. So what are we doing? Some people might get mad, but hey, the best examples are what grow the game. You can't be a bad example to to showing up for fans and doing all this load management and then expect to grow the game. The game's not growing. These guys aren't putting in the same effort. Collectively. There are some that do. But collectively, not seeing it, man. Not seeing it. And if you make the most money, you got to show up. You got to grow your game. Football does a great, is a great showing of that. And people will make excuses. There's less games. They don't play as many games during the week and blah. That's why people watch more on the weekends. We could make all the excuses that we want. Stop making excuses and live in reality. In anything that you do in life, you will be 10 times stronger if you live in reality. Stop living in false truths that other people want to hide under. They want to hide under it like it's a bridge for protection. At some point, you got to grow your own teeth, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear that phrase a lot from me. Grow your own teeth. Nobody else can grow your teeth for you. You can't hide when you're teething. And you got to grow your own teeth. You got to sit through that pain. You got to grow them out. And if you don't take care of your teeth, what happens? They fall out of your mouth. They get rotten. Your breath smells. All these bad things happen. You got to grow your own teeth and maintain a certain level to keep those teeth healthy and clean. Stop hiding under excuses in any walk of life, right? Doesn't matter. We're talking about basketball, but in any walk of life, stop hiding under excuses. Look for the reality of things first and move that way. Stop looking for excuses. Look at what's happening right in front of you. Listen to what people are saying. No more excuses. And the last thing he said that I just want to touch on is, again, I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe Bryant. I'll add to that. I want Allen Iverson. I want T-Mac. Both injured at times. T-Mac lost some of his career to injury, but gave it everything he could. I want Derrick Rose. Another unfortunate thing, but man, the guy gave it everything he had when he could give it everything that he had. And he still continued to play when he wasn't the same. I want Shaq. I want Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing. I want Chris Webber, who's another guy that had injuries. I want Amari Stoudemire, that passion to break the rim. I want Tim Duncan. I want Dirk, who didn't run from the grind either. Newer players that I really respect, give me SGA. Every night he's out there, leading. Give me Donovan Mitchell this year, man. Mitchell's had injuries. There's been things about him. He's had top teams in Utah, but man, what is he doing with the Cavs? Look at what he's doing with the Cavaliers. And he's playing a lot this year. Now, is he going to be as consistent? From now to the end of his career, we'll see. But right now, he's doing a darn good job. Give me Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. As a Laker fan, it hurts me to say this. But those Celtics boys over there, they know what they're doing. They're out there every night. So, there's other examples of people doing it big and doing the best that they can, but it should be collective. It's not collective. And I'm not talking about sometimes. All the time you got to prove it. You got to bring it every night. Give me Kyrie Irving. Say what you want about Kyrie Irving. Some people may have different things to say about him. The man plays. He plays. And with AD out and they traded Luka, right now I watched the last couple games. He's giving it everything he's got. The Mavs games have been good. The Lakers Mav game the other night was really good. Right now, LeBron's putting in a lot of effort. Got to give LeBron credit, man. He's putting in a lot of effort right now. You love to see it. But is it every time and in everything? And that's what we're looking for. And that's what PK said. Give me Michael Jordan. Give me Kobe Bryant. You can make all the excuses you want outside of that, but you know why he said it. You can make up excuses. You can fake it. You can play these little games. You can play politics, but there's no politics here. Anything less than that, I don't respect. I can like you. I can give you credit. I can like watching parts of your game. But if you're going to talk to me about standards that need to be set and need to be followed, anything less than those two examples, don't talk to me about it. It's not the same. Anything less than what Magic and Bird gave to the game. Anything less than what Kareem gave to the game. Anything less than what Tim Duncan. And Tim Duncan load managed. That's one weakness for Tim Duncan. That's one little L he took. But everything else, they gave it a lot. But again, those two that stand at the top in most people's minds are there for a reason. And it wasn't because they were low managing. It wasn't because they were taking days off. It wasn't because they weren't respecting the fans. It wasn't because they took the money and ran. It wasn't because they were disloyal. They gave it everything they could. And when you're a fan that's paying a lot of money in any shape, form, capacity, whether you're watching it on TV, paying for cable, right? Whether you're buying shoes, whether you're buying other apparel, shirts, t-shirts, whatever. Shirts and t-shirts are the same thing. Apologies. I don't know if I said sneakers. I don't think I did. Sneakers. Tickets to the game. All the stuff you're buying and contributing to for these players. You want that return. All you ask for is hard play. And your best. Their best. That's what you ask for. You're not wrong for wanting that as a fan. Especially when you've seen the standard of people doing it before them. The Pistons team back in the day. Talk about them, man. I'm a Laker fan. They beat us down in whatever year that was. I forget exactly which one. I tried to erase it from my memory. That's how bad they got us. But at the end of the day, that's what you want. That's effort. That's heart. That's dedication to the game. That's not walking into the gym, picking up the 5 best superstars of all time and thinking you're the best because you win that way. With all the best on your team. No. That was a team that said we can be as good as 2 or 3 of the best players ever. Karl Malone was out, I think, so I'll say 4 players. Karl Malone was out. He was old. Gary was old too. But Shaq and Kobe were still pretty primed. And they beat us down. That's what the type of effort you want to see. You want to see people that want to compete, that don't give a dang. I'll throw Ant Edwards in there. He said a few shady things that I don't love. But no disrespect to him. We're just 2 different people. But overall, he plays. And he wants to compete. And that's all we ask. So I don't think we're bad people for wanting that. PK Subban, salute to you, my brother, my cousin. I'm going to start calling him cousin. Salute to you. And your honesty and the passion that you showed that us as fans, we have that passion. And it's good to see that somebody in the media, somebody professionally being paid and positioned on these platforms has the same passion as a fan that's been watching for however many years. We love basketball. We love football. We love sports. We love them. We just want the passion back. The attention to detail. The character building. The standards that were set. That were the apex. We just want that. You're getting paid enough to do it. Sorry. And again, the last thing he said that I didn't touch on, you're a role model, whether you want to be or not. For all the kids coming up, for all people of all walks of life. Again, some of y'all may hate Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant stood for everybody with that Mamba mentality. You fight till you can't fight no more. If you're going to cry, cry to not quit. Don't cry about giving up. Cry to not quit. Fight through the pain. That mentality needs to follow all of us. That's what we want. And that's the standard. And if we don't get it, we don't respect it. But the truth is, in a way, I can still respect it. Just don't put yourself up there. And when we try to remind you of, hey, don't forget that standard, remember that? Don't get offended. Don't get mad. Ask yourself, do they have a point? In the words of the Kanye West meme, gotcha. Gotcha. PK Subban, salute my brother. Everybody listening, much love. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Much love.